This week we are celebrating a birthday here on World News Now. It's our 16th, or as we're calling it, 15 plus 1. The math was just too tough for us. That means this show has entered its rebellious teen years, and we thought this was a pretty good time to stop and look back at just who gave birth to World News Now. Whose idea was it to do hours of news and quite a bit of nonsense in the middle of the night?
On a somewhat disquieting note, this is ABC's World News Now.
It was like the kids had taken over the network in the middle of the night, and the adults were kind of freaked out by it. I had an idea of what I thought a middle-of-the-night news program should be. NBC was on the air with a middle-of-the-night news program they did out of North Carolina somewhere. It was horrible. It was just terrible.
Merry Christmas. I'm Sarah James, and this is NBC Nightside.
We just thought,
the final chapter.
Why would you do this the way every other newscast is being done? We had this idea that the program should take the news seriously, but not itself seriously.
You made a menopause joke. I'm sorry.
We were rehearsing it horribly the week before, and Rune Arledge, who was our boss, was notorious for paying no attention to anything until the last possible moment. And he looked at the tape the Friday before we went on the air and changed it a lot. Took us off the set. We'd been sitting on the set that World News used, and I think there was some consternation that we might contaminate that temple of journalism. And Rune took us off the set, took the coat off me, put us in the newsroom, at one point said, I want him to ad-lib sports.
I'm now going to read the entire list of teams, men and women, that made it into the NCAA tournament.
Iowa State, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Duke, Florida State.
He said, just have him ad-lib it. Just throw highlights on. He'll say something funny. Because he wanted me to be funny. I wanted to be Edward R. Murrow. He wanted me to be Jackie Gleason.
Here are the scores. This Indiana defeats Miami.
I remember the night we went on the air.
This is the premiere broadcast of ABC's World News Now.
I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing a red and white striped shirt and a red polka dot tie of some sort. I have these big glasses on. And the music came up, and I remember thinking, what did you get yourself into, man?
The Valley Girls of San Fernando are for sure so stressed.
The one thing we had going for us is we were pretty sure no one was watching, and none of our bosses were watching, at least. And so what we had was a theory about what a middle-of-the-night news program ought to be. And we thought, well, it could be kind of funny. It could be different. I mean, we, after all, were the guys who put the accordion player on the air.
And he's bad, Aaron Brown.
Which I'm sure got the attention of our bosses.
Better than Bob Donaldson.
If Lisa was off, we put a picture of Lisa there. It's sitting in the chair. I'd do the show with a cardboard cutout sitting next to me. And I'd refer to it. And, you know, honestly, that's not that funny, okay? But to us, because none of us had slept for months, I mean, it was brilliant humor to us.
You shouldn't breathe through your mouth. It's really unattractive.
And within the confines of ABC News, God bless those guys, where there had never been a good joke, ever, we were really funny.
Which do you think looks better with my jacket?
We realized there was a lot of time where Lisa and I would talk. And so we talked. And she was funny, and I could be funny, and we could be serious together. It was a great on-air relationship. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. You can't. It was luck.
If you'd like Lisa's job, please send her resume to us. Send it to Anchor Search, 47 West 66.
I am continually amazed at how many people still come up and say, I used to watch you in the middle of the night. I found you in the middle of the night. You guys were the best thing about television at that time. There was a relationship between the audience and the program that was unique in television. And I suspect that still exists. And that's a wonderful thing to have been a part of. It always amazed me it's still there. I thought we'd have killed it.
That's the news for this half hour.
You're watching ABC's World News Now.
Well, here we are all these years later, and here's the guy you can blame for this mess, the guy who started this all and is the reason we're up all night, and I guess you guys are too. David Bohrman, nice to have you back.
Nice to be here. I see you're still at the kids' table.
You
and
got
not
it.
at the real anchor desk.
You're not the first person to notice that. Okay, the budget has not gotten much bigger for this show either. We do have a reunion here of sorts. Bring out our friends here. We're going to have the whole cast
Well,
here.
I see you have the new miniature edition of Aaron and Lisa's cardboard cutouts.
I told you the budget hasn't gotten any bigger, nor have the anchors, obviously, huh?
Kinko's has gone down in price, so you could maybe have done a little bit better. No, but this was after the program first began, when they had a day off, God forbid, we had a series of substitutes, and the program never really worked. And so I had graphics make a cardboard cutout, and they were by far the best substitute anchors. I mean, everyone else did a great job, but these were the guys.
That says something. Tell us first of all about you. What are you up to these days?
I'm now the Washington bureau chief for CNN. Okay. It's actually a frightening, legitimate sounding job.
So you can go somewhere from this shift.
You can escape, although some of the crew still is here. I mean, Willis, the cameraman, is still here and has been here all along.
As quiet as always, too.
Yeah. So I'm producing all of the big politics events for CNN. I created the Situation Room. Aaron and I got back together for a little reunion tour a few years ago, a program called Newsnight at CNN that was a really interesting follow-on to what we did here 15 years ago.
You heard Aaron say it felt like the kids had taken over, and fortunately it felt like no one was watching, particularly the management here. Talk to me about that, and is that how you thrived in the early days?
Yeah, I mean, basically you need a total disregard for management. I will tell you, Rune Arledge watched the show. Rune loved the show. Most of the other management below Rune had no idea what we were doing in here. And I would describe it as, Rune gave us the keys to a new Ferrari, said drive it around for a while and just bring it back and don't scratch it up too much overnight. And we had the freedom and a little bit of sense, but the freedom to really experiment and try to figure out a program that would be appropriate to overnight. Very different than what the other guys were doing and what we might do at other times of the day. And we came up with crazy ideas and we tried it. And looking back, I mean, there were 1 million people that watched this program every single night. Right now, that's when Larry King peaks out at 1 million people. We didn't realize what we had, I think, when we had it. And it was really magic, and it was a great time.
Your baby's a teenager now. Do you still watch over her? Do you still watch?
Well, I don't watch very often. If you're going to give me a quiz, I'll probably fail it. Okay. But I will tell you, there is a clear sense of DNA still in the program. Many of the people who have anchored it, we've met on various occasions, and there is a connection between the first staff of World News Now and the current staff of World News Now. I do remember there was some shtick that happened about 6 months ago that made me so proud. I sent an email off to the management at ABC just to say, thank God the program is still there.
The baby still lives. All right, here's the quiz, just because we want to show you these funny things in case you missed them. I know you never watch when I'm not here, but occasionally I'm not here. And, yeah, exactly. Okay. Eric Hong was subbing for me on Halloween, okay? Question is, who was he for Halloween on the show? Senator Larry Craig, David Beckham, or Willis?
Well, I would hope it would be Willis. I mean, that's the only thing I can.
You know, in retrospect, I think you should have been right, but you're not. Let's take a look. There he is. Yep, Senator Craig, complete with handcuffs. Not bad, huh? Not bad.
Were you playing footsie under the table?
I was not here. Okay, all right. Plausible
Willis,
deniability.
go for it, Willis.
Yeah, all right. One more here. What food did the WNN anchors? I was in on this. Stuff in Willis's mouth while he was blindfolded.
A bagel.
Close. Close. Correct answer is donuts. But this is always worth taking. Here we go. Here we go. So you can see not much really has changed at the end of the day.
Now that's journalism, isn't it?
This is.
All right, here's the
This is a taste test, though. I mean, there was some reasoning behind this.
Now, if you did that at Charlie's desk, do you think he would actually know the difference?
Why do you think we're sitting here? Yes, because I think there have been, you know, some sugar stains left up there, and that was part of the reason.
And why don't you have a web page?
See, this man still asked the right question.
You need a cause.
This man asked the right question. Still, after all of these years, David Bohrman, thanks for being here. Welcome back. Thanks for bringing.
We'll see if it makes it to 20. I have some secrets.
Won't be me, my friend. We'll be right back with more World News Now.
A short time ago, this woman
register out in California. This is a great story. A bicyclist almost runs over, and his revenge is...
dig holes, hide them with branches and leaves, and lay in wait while bicyclists fall over the holes.
Yeah, all along the bike trail, he's made these divots and causing all kinds of trouble.
He dug 50 holes.
That man was mad. That's the news for this half hour.
More insomniacs get their news from World News Now than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.